Research indicates that mindfulness can help improve resiliency and focus while reducing stress and anxiety. Hi, how are you doing? I hope you're hanging in there. Whether you're a software engineer or an elementary school teacher, this pandemic has impacted us all, and probably not for the better. But we need to stay balanced and we need to stay focused in order to survive this pandemic and make it to the other side in one piece. Don't worry, I have a tool and a suggestion for you to help you get to the other side. It's called mindfulness. Mindfulness is the state of mind you achieve by being focused solely in the moment. Clearly, I'm not a health and wellness coach, but thankfully, I have a good friend who is. On today's episode of Dib Tech Talk, I've invited my good friend Star Hardison to walk us through the concept of mindfulness and self-love through meditation and other techniques. Star is a Navy veteran and a health and wellness coach. So I invite you to take a deep breath, clear your mind, and join Star and I as we walk through mindfulness and some guided meditation.
Hi, I'm Leslie Weinstein, and this is Dib Tech Talk, a show where we make sense of all things cybersecurity for the defense industrial base. In this series, I'll introduce you to cybersecurity concepts and industry experts. I'll also review innovative products and solutions to help you implement and manage your cybersecurity program. Let's dig right in. Star, thank you so much for joining me on my show today. Typically, I have really technical and boring, no offense, topics covered on this show that are really apropos to the defense industrial base, but it's always important to take time for ourselves and to do things to take care of ourselves in order to be our most productive selves. So
Yes.
thank you for joining us. And I want to make sure everybody knows that you are a retired Navy captain. Go Army. Because you will never tell anybody
Cute
that
Army.
yourself. But I think that's one of the most impressive things about you, a 26-year career. And you're just so kind and generous. And you're like my work mom before COVID. So I thank you so much for joining me. And can you please tell us a little bit more about yourself and your wellness coaching that you do to help others?
Sure. Well, thank you. And thank you for having me here. Very kind introduction. So, yeah, I'm Star Hardison. I am, like you said, a 26-year Navy veteran. I retired from the Navy in 2016 and have since been working as a contractor, still supporting the Department of Defense. So that sense of service is still ingrained in me. Um, 26 years in the Navy straight out of college. So have been to the extremes of the earth in my tours, everywhere from Djibouti to Antarctica.
Are you shellback?
I am not a shellback, no. So, but would have loved to have had the opportunity. But I have been to the South Pole.
Cool.
I've done 3 deployments to McMurdo Station, Antarctica. So that was, no pun intended, one of my coolest tours. Um, Served mostly as the human resources officer, but also have a background in IT. I was a local area network administrator once upon a time. I used to be a am in Ada, if anybody still remembers the Ada programming language. So understand the importance of compiling a program and getting it to work and run. Um, and also have had the opportunity to work with one of the program executive offices in the Navy. Um, they were focused on mostly terrestrial networks and also with acquiring and developing information systems for human resources. So a weird hodgepodge of a career, but it's been a great ride. And since the Navy, I retired. I used my GI Bill and, shifted focus into wellness and mindfulness and health coaching. And that's what has brought us together today.
Yeah, speaking of GI Bill, so I am currently using my GI Bill to go back to school. I work full time, I have a child, and so life is crazy. And I think life has been crazy for most of us with COVID. if our jobs haven't been directly impacted, our life in some way has been impacted. And so that's why I think this topic that we're about to talk about today is so important. And I've worn my shirt in today's theme, which is love and self-care. So can you talk about how important self-care is, especially when life is stressful and we have all of these things competing for our time and we're sitting here in front of this computer all day?
Yeah.
Um, Tell us about the importance of it, what happens if we don't do it, and some few tips or tricks about how we can do this on a regular basis.
Yeah. So good question. Also, I don't know if you can see it, but today I'm wearing my yin and yang um, necklace, which is if you've ever seen that figure, it's that black and white figure that shows life in balance, yin and yang, or yin and yang. So self care and life in balance is so important in the way that yin and yang is. And especially right now, your audience in the industrial base, they're doing things they haven't had to do before, um, mostly trying to do these big, important projects geographically separated from each other, which is the ideal situation, really, because that's what IT is supposed to do, is to help to cobble us together nicely in some manner.
That's
But
right.
that personal connection has been pulled apart because of COVID, which means some of those relationships aren't happening anymore, that closeness, the touching, um, all of those sorts of things. And that's where self care comes in. Um, Self care can be just about anything, really. You can look at things like yoga, meditation, exercise, taking time to read your favorite novel, going for a walk, running your feet through the grass or through the sand. Really, anything can be self care. And that's really important right now.
Yeah. So, what are some things that you do personally throughout the day, like on a daily basis, that you use to kind of reset yourself to kind of come back to a place of connectivity or feeling more like yourself when you seem to be stressed out from reality?
Yeah, so there's a few things. I like to think about it in three pillars: mind, body, and spirit. Mind, I try to make sure that I get to read something that's not work related at all, something fun, something, and it could be total brain candy like the People magazine, or it can be something more interesting like a Vanity Fair or a good novel. Into a good novel right now. Yeah, mind, body. Body, I try to do a couple of things: movement, hydration, and exercise. So, movement, the military in me, you can't get it out of me. I'm up at the crack of dawn. The alarm goes off at 4. I can't, it goes off at 4. I'm usually awake
You can
before.
change that in your phone settings, I think.
I know, but my body clock still wakes me up at about 10 minutes before the alarm goes off anyway to say, is it time to get up yet? Up, roll out, get something to drink, and head out to the gym. Do something really vigorous at the gym. And it's nice that the gyms are open again now that we're post phase, whatever, of COVID. Um, Come home, make sure I have something really nutritious. I have a smoothie that I like to eat, and I was just having a stressful moment and just making sure I have some good food to eat when I have that stressful moment, because the tendency is to dig into the candy jar, but instead I grabbed a green apple because that's the only thing that's in the house right now. Um, Mind, body, spirit. Spirit, it can mean many different things. For me, it's really just having some quiet time and being meditative. For others, it might be something that's based in their own religion. For others that are more agnostic, it might be more of that quiet time. But
Mm,
that quiet meditation time is important for me.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are things that we can do on a daily basis. But I feel, and I feel myself kind of burning out,
even if I take the time for myself every day, I still feel like I need to take time for myself, like long-term self-care. So what are things that we can do in this kind of restrictive environment where we can, maybe reset not our whole lives, but like reset our funk if we're in a funk or feeling down and out, like maybe not down and out, but kind of in this weird place. Like what are some things that we can do that will have like a long-term impact on how we're feeling?
Right. There's a few different things. I know there's a book that I enjoy reading by Gretchen Rubin called Outer Order, Inner Calm. You saw a lot of that at the beginning of us being in quarantine, where people are taking a lot of time of getting their space to feel organized.
Mm.
Um, there's something about having that cleanness and neatness and tidiness around your space for a lot of people, not everybody, that helps to get that clutter out of your brain. So if you feel cluttered in your surroundings, you'll feel cluttered up here. So,
Yes, that is absolutely what just happened. I just moved. I, changed my whole lifestyle because I felt so cramped and crowded. And now I feel as if I might have been slightly depressed or like in a weird place. And now that I have space, it's a whole, I'm in a different space, like mentally, because I'm in a spaced out
yeah,
area. So
yeah.
100%, that's phenomenal. I wish you had told me about this 6 months ago.
That's a beautiful spot to be in. It's gorgeous. So very well done. Um, Another thing, we haven't had the luxury of going on vacation. A good many of us, um, but there's something very therapeutic to the body and to your circadian rhythm of making sure that you get sunlight in your eyes, that you see the sun, that you enjoy the blue sky, and that you see the green grass. There's something um, inside the body that kind of keeps that body clock moving nicely and just kind of opens up a sense of calm, whether you're really conscious of it or not. It's something that's happening. So, and I go back to an office I used to have when I was still on active duty. I didn't have a window, but I had a really huge picture on the back of one of my walls. Blue sky, green grass, lots of sun. So at least if I wasn't seeing it in person, I was at least seeing it virtually. But I really encourage folks to get outside and if only for 15, 20 minutes is ideal every day. Get that sun in your face, get the blue sky on your face, and get your feet in the grass. Um, and then last, I would say longer term, if you are able to have the luxury of going on a vacation and it may not be feasible financially for some people right now or logistically for some people. But if you can do it, there's lots of options to do it safely. Maybe find an Airbnb or a hotel that's doing a good job with practicing social distancing. But find a different space, something that gives you a new point of view, just to kind of change your scenery. Something about changing your scenery kind of changes the energy and kind of makes you feel better.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking about feeling better and being in a good headspace and being mindful, can you talk about mindfulness and why it's important and how to kind of get there if it's not something that we practice or have even learned about? Like, I think there's a lot of people who have maybe heard the term but may not understand what it is and uh, how to achieve it.
Yeah, yeah. So, good topic. Mindfulness is really just being present in the moment. And I'll use a couple of examples, or at least one example. Um, how many times have you been in the shower and you're not truly in the shower? You're already 2 or 3 hours down the road. You might be thinking about the meeting that you're about to get on, or the Zoom that you have to do, or making sure your kids are getting situated in front of their Zoom because school just started, um, or or you've walked into a room and you don't remember why you're there because your brain is skipped 4 or 5 steps down the lane,
Absolutely.
thinking about the next thing. So mindfulness is about just being present, like just truly being present. Like I'm in this room to get my keys. I have my keys now. My keys are in my hand. I feel them in my hand. I'm going to take the keys to go to the car. I'm going to the car to go to the grocery store, and only think about going to the grocery store. Don't think about the list just yet. Um, it's being present in that moment and enjoying that moment and observing that moment as it is.
Yeah, and I think that's really important with conversations, right? Like, I know we're not in face-to-face conversations, but most of us are in Zoom calls or on phone calls now that we're all remote. And a lot of people think about what they're going to say next or what they have to do after this call, and they're not paying attention to what's going on the Zoom call until their name gets called, and then they're being called out and they don't know how to respond. So, what are some ways that we can bring ourselves back to the present to focus on being mindful when we find ourselves drifting?
Right. So the thing about the brain is that's what it does. I like to call it monkey brain. I'm not the only one that's called it that. Um, but it likes to skip around and it likes to kind of be all over the place. So and back to your point about Zoom calls, it's so easy, especially if you are having a bad hair moment. You maybe instead of showing yourself live, you show just your profile picture, which allows you to like pick up your cell phone and start texting and thinking about other things. And it's like, put all this stuff down and just take a moment. And it's like, I can see you straight away. And and I'm observing the things in your room and I'm looking straight into your eyes and I'm listening to the words that you're saying and listening to understand,
Yes.
listening and hearing to understand before I try to make my response. So, um, that's probably can be applied in any circumstance, is really just being present and looking to understand what you're seeing, listening to understand what you're hearing. um yeah.
And that helps,
So
this helps in all facets of our life, our interpersonal relationships with our family and our friends and our loved ones and our coworkers. So being mindful is not just for success in the workplace, but success as a person, like interacting in this world with other humans. So
yeah.
that is awesome. So I also understand that you do self-guided meditation, or you can teach people how to do self-guided meditation, and you have some things that you can share with me, and we can share with everybody and walk us through one of these exercises to gain some internal uh, solace or uh, calmness,
Yeah,
I guess, and bringing wellness to ourselves. Can you talk about how that works and walk us through one?
absolutely. So yeah, so something about mindfulness or even meditation. I have a quick book plug for people, not my book. I think he's an ABC correspondent. His name is Dan Harris. He wrote a book called Meditation for Fidgety Skeptics, which really resonated with me because when I first heard about meditation, I was like, okay, whatever. So, because I think I thought, meditation is kind of woo woo and I don't know about this. And it's anyhow, but um, reading his book kind of won me over because he talks about there's not just one way to meditate. It can be many ways. It can be as short as a minute. It can go on for hours on end. It doesn't have to be this one thing. It can be whatever suits you because um, mindfulness and meditation and self care is really an individual sport. You know, what resonates with one person doesn't necessarily suit another. Like I enjoy a 20-minute meditation quiet with a mantra, but some other people that would just make them burst out of their skin. So it's just finding that thing that's just right for you.
So what
So
are the goals of meditation? Like, what are we supposed to get out of it? Like, why would I want to start practicing meditation?
Yeah, so meditation really helps you just kind of get quiet with yourself and really helps you to just kind of find a center. The idea is there's no striving towards some great epiphany and that the skies are going to open up and you're going to suddenly be enlightened. Like that's not meditation. What it is though, what happens in meditation, you really just see the benefits outside of meditation. So I find the times when I'm consistent with my practice, that I'm more engaged with people, that my relationships are stronger, that um, my tendency to be an angry person, because I get a little bit of
No,
I have a
no,
I have a temper.
absolutely not. You must have been a fantastic meditator ever
Oh,
since I've met you. So I do not believe that at all.
but my tendency to have a temper and to maybe use my more colorful words um, get tempered because I am able to take a breath and take a step back and I attribute that to the grounding and the centeredness that meditation brings because I do allow myself that quiet contemplation moment where everything kind of just gets to hum and be quiet for a little bit.
Okay, so let's do one. I will do whatever you tell me to do. I think though, when we record whenever you're speaking, it'll be on you. It won't be on me, so no one will have to watch me um, meditate. But the focus will be on you, and I promise I will be doing exactly what you're telling me to do, and I will concentrate.
Awesome. All right. So for you and for all your followers, if everyone a comfortable seat, if you and try to sit squarely on your sits bones. If you find that you have any blessings to the left and the right of you on your high knees, go ahead and pull those to the side so that you're sitting nice and tall. And go ahead and take a moment to close your eyes. And then place your tongue at the top of the roof of your mouth and then sit 1 inch taller. And take a deep inhale and exhale out. Find a comfortable spot for the hands wherever they want to rest, whether they be on your knees or gently in your lap. Take a deep inhale, feeling the sensation of the air going across the bridge of your nose. And exhale out. Now take that breath in nice and deep again, taking a concentration of bringing that breath to into your chest and behind your heart, sitting 1 inch taller. Exhale out. And we'll do 2 more cycles of that. Big inhale and exhale out. And one more. Inhale and exhale out. Bring your hands together, palms to touch, fingers pointed to the ceiling, thumbs to heart center. The teacher in me honors the teacher in you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Very good.
That was awesome. That was amazing. I never take the time to do that, and I absolutely will start doing that. That was great. Thank you
Well,
so much for doing
absolutely.
that.
And I'll put in a what is it, a self-aggrandizing plug for myself. So
Absolutely. Tell everybody. Yeah.
every every Wednesday, please feel free to join me on Facebook Live. Um, my company is called Well Done and Better. Goes back to my Navy roots. Whenever somebody did something good, we would say Bravo Zulu, which means well done. So, Well Done and Better is my company. It's a health and wellness coaching company. Um, I help with nutrition coaching, and what I do offer every Wednesday at noon Eastern Time, Eastern Standard or Eastern Daylight Time, is what I call Wellness Wednesday. And it's just 5 minutes of Facebook Live with me, and it usually ends up into 10 minutes because you can see I'm a bit of a chatty Cathy. Um, but it's 5 minutes, and we just take a moment to get away from the desks and we do something that you could actually do in the work environment. So we might do a quick breathing or meditation, we might do some sort of stretching, we might just do some dynamic movement, but something to kind of get that blood moving and get you away from your desk for, or at least away from your work for 5 minutes once a
Yeah.
week. So
Awesome.
I invite your audience to please join me again Wednesdays at Well Done and Better live on Facebook.
And if they can't make it live, is it available after the fact? Is it
Yeah,
on your page? Okay.
yeah.
Awesome.
There's always a replay, so it's always posted there. So there's weeks and weeks worth. I'm not sure how long we've been living the COVID life, but there's weeks of it available. So if you ever want to go back and learn about box breathing or stretching or whatever, it's all out there.
Awesome. And we will make that link available so that they can um, find it more easily. But thank you so much for sharing all of this wealth of knowledge with all of us. And hopefully, everybody watching takes the opportunity to take some time for themselves. And I hope everyone is healthy, and I hope you stay healthy. And I can't wait to see you in person when all of this is over.
Absolutely. And again, thank you. And thank you to your audience. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today.
Thank you for joining me on this special episode of Dib Tech Talk, where we focused on wellness instead of work. I do want to finish this episode in the same way that I finish all episodes, with a brief news update. So, first and foremost, the CMMC accreditation body has recently transitioned out its chairman of the board and communications director. It's unlikely that this will have any long term impact on the implementation of the CMMC itself. And in fact, the DoD has said that they expect the DFARS rule change to be open for public comment later this year, which means we could expect to see the final rule going into effect in early 2021. In other news, I wanted to point out this potential for us to get a national cyber director, kind of like how the intelligence community has the DNI, the Director of National Intelligence. In the NDAA of 2021, it is proposed that the federal government establish a national cyber director. This person would be within the executive office of the White House with congressional oversight, but this person would be responsible for setting national cyber strategy, much in the same way that the DNI handles that for the intelligence community. This could have impacts on the defense supply chain because, as with all national strategies, the Department of Defense must fall in line with the national strategy, so there is potential for change or maybe different directions. But it's exciting news in the world of cyber because finally the role of cyber is being elevated to the highest echelons of government as we recognize how important this topic is. So thank you again for joining me on this episode, and I look forward to seeing you all again.